The death of Uncle Dupie on this week's State of Play. We're joined by Stephanie Hansen of the law firm of Young, Conaway, Stargett and Taylor, and a former Newcastle County Council president. With her is Michael Stafford. He's an attorney, columnist, and occasional MSNBC contributor. Uncle Dupie. Years ago, that's how employees referred to the DuPont Company, confident that the company would be there to offer good jobs for their entire careers. Now, Ellen Kullman is out as CEO, and we're a long way from Uncle Dupie. I guess generally corporations don't really operate the way DuPont once did, and certainly the DuPont Company doesn't operate the way it did before here in Delaware. So what does Ellen Kullman leaving as CEO suddenly mean for the company?
Well, I think it underscores the instability, which is a real concern. It was a surprise to everyone. Still, there is a lot of information that's lacking as to, well, what happened and why. And, I think being from Seaford, the former nylon capital of the world, right. I have direct experience as to what happens when DuPont leaves. And it's not good. It's going to leave a big hole when they leave. Things are looking very unstable right now. You keep reading about they're trying to sell the Hotel DuPont, the whole change to Chemours. It's very unpredictable and unstable right now. It doesn't give anyone a sense, it shouldn't give anyone a false sense of security.
Absolutely agree. When you think about it, Delaware was, in the old days, almost akin to a company town. And obviously we've diversified, we've brought in the financial sector, but the DuPont sign came down over the Brandywine building a while ago. Right. This isn't a sudden death, this is a slow wasting away. And when we look at, as you said in your opening remarks, the stability, the career stability that employers like DuPont used to provide, GE, GM, that's gone. That's not the model anymore in the economy. The model we're all operating under is precarity. And you can expect, if you're a young person coming out of college in Delaware, anywhere else, you can expect to have multiple employers and probably a period or two of unemployment, and maybe even going back to school to get retraining. That's the model we're in. So that kind of firm, solid, stable foundation that anchor employers like DuPont used to provide is just not there anymore.
Right. So the big question then, does the company get split up? It seems like that was the big nugget in the proxy fight with Nelson Peltz earlier this year, which was fended off after a very vigorous campaign. Is DuPont going to be split?
Well, I think it's all going to come down to money. Does it make more sense to split it off into other entities and try to keep at least some presence around, or not? And everything is so up in the air right now, and I think even they don't know. I don't think that there would be if you were to listen to what they're saying, which is not a whole lot right now, even they aren't very sure of where they're going.
We've seen look at Wilmington Trust. It's here one day, it's gone the next. There's nothing about DuPont, about its name, its brand, or its business that immunizes it from the sort of market forces we see, in its sector, in the chemical business, where mergers and these sorts of things are sort of par for the course. It almost seems like there's two sorts of large companies. There are the predators, and then there are the ones that are preyed upon. And at some moment, when you become more profitable as a carcass to get picked over, that's your fate.
It is part of the kind of panic over what will happen because of the way that this announcement came down several weeks ago, that there was no sort of succession in place, that for the head of a multi-billion-dollar company not to really announce a plan for the future when the CEO leaves.
Absolutely.
It's that public piece of the iceberg up above the ocean, and it hints at greater instability below. And chaos below. It absolutely does.
And what that means for Wilmington is something that's really unknown, and it's really scary right now, because they employ hundreds of people right in the downtown area. When those people leave or start to filter off, it's going to expose holes in the whole fabric of downtown that I don't know that the city is prepared to step up and fill.
Well, and DuPont sort of always played the same role MBNA used to play, the corporate benefactor, the giver. We're losing those local businesses of significant size that had the financial wherewithal to back a lot of the charitable causes here in Delaware. Who do you call? For years, if you were on a nonprofit board, it started with DuPont and MBNA. What happens when they're both gone?
Right.
And that leaves a big challenge for whoever is in charge of running the city of Wilmington. And we'll change gears there and look at, we're now approaching November, so we're almost a year away from the next mayoral election here in Wilmington, and the candidates are sort of coming forward with sort of a lengthy list, not as many as the Republicans running for president, but we're getting there, right? So is Mayor Williams vulnerable at this point? Will he be vulnerable a year from now on Election Day? He's
certainly vulnerable now. Yes, because I think there is a tremendous public safety problem. And even if it's, well, I can't say if it's just a perception. It's a public safety problem. This isn't a perception. And I think that there is a growing level of frustration with the businesses downtown and with the people in the city of Wilmington that whatever he put into place isn't working. The whole, we're not going to hug thugs. Well, okay, well, what did we do with them? Because things are getting worse. So the plan hasn't worked. People are not happy about it. I think he's vulnerable.
Yeah, that's certainly true to a point. I think being the mayor of Wilmington in the environment we're in has to be a rather thankless job. Right. And I'm not convinced there's a heck of a lot that other people are going to do. What additional resources are going to be tapped into? What new novel ideas or strategies are going to be tried? I hate to say that there are intractable problems driving a lot of this, but there are. And so what is the cure to urban poverty? What is the cure?
Here's one thing. Here's one issue, one low-hanging fruit. That is the Delaware Division of Health and Social Services is supposed to have people on the ground actually visiting around the Rodney Square area where the folks that are homeless. Yeah. I mean, that's part of what they are being paid to do. They're not doing it. We need people on the ground, not just police officers, but social service workers there to start to pick up on these issues and bring the people that need help the resources that they need and get them out of Rodney Square, get them the resources that they need. That's not being done. That division is not being held accountable, and that's not a mayor of Wilmington. That's not a mayor of Wilmington issue. That's a state of Delaware issue. Somebody needs to step up and take that on because that's easy and it ought to be done.
All right, more on the future of Wilmington and the future of the mayoral race in the coming weeks here on State of Play. For now, Stephanie Hansen and Michael Stafford, thanks so much for being here and playing State of Play.
Thank you.